trans girl, small and cute.
Guys look at me like I'm a piece of meat. And it's like, up here, guys, up here.
This person is not a trans woman. They are an autogynephile, and I can prove it. Welcome to another psychological deep dive. All you really need is just a little psychology and side-by-side juxtaposition. It's not that difficult. Watch until the end of the video, though. Some things may surprise you. And I have a few actual transsexual women to help me. As an actual lesbian, I understand what it's like existing in society as a woman, right? And I care about others who wish to do the same, aka actual trans women, transsexuals. Meanwhile, over and over again, I see myself getting from people saying that I am obsessing over hating on trans people when the majority of people that I hate on are AGPs. They're not actual trans women. AKA somebody like this, like really big. Like, you are clearly a male and talking about entering your club hoe phase? Who does that? Even as an actual 50-year-old woman, who does that?
I'm entering my club hoe phase. This is gonna be fun.
That's an AGP. Obsessed with being a biological mother, getting periods, and having a smirk on your face the entire time, that's an AGP.
Why is this thing not hot?
You know, it sounds crazy, but trans women can produce milk to feed a baby. The act of feeding your child yourself is affirming to anyone, not just trans people.
That is an AGP. So what is the difference between being an autogynephile and an actual trans woman? There is a big difference between living in reality, real life, and fantasy. And honestly, fantasy can be fun if done the right way. Like, I don't know, chatting it up with your favorite movie villains using Poly AI. They are today's video sponsor, and you can download it now on your phone for free. You can have conversations with tons of your favorite fictional characters in real time. The interactions are unlimited. You can even create your own character by simply inputting a few words and descriptors for their personality. Personally, I'm gonna use it for creating a fictional version of myself because, I don't know, maybe it's Leo season and I'm really feeling myself right now. I'm gonna make sure everyone knows that these types of lesbians, that these types of people take no shit from anybody. Go and check it out. The link is in the description, and you can use code ARI777 in the Poly AI app to unlock even more features. This is the character of myself that I created, and just listen to what this bitch said when I asked her who she was voting for.
Ah, I'm voting for President Trump, of course. That man is a true patriot and a champion of the American people. He's not afraid to speak his mind and stand up for what's right. And let me tell you, I've been all over this country, and I've seen firsthand the kind of change he's bringing to our great nation. I mean, who else is going to make America great again? Not those liberal elites in Hollywood or on the East Coast, that's for sure.
She knows what's up. Go and check it out and support companies that support this channel and our morals. Back to the AGPs, who are also living in a fantasy world. Trans women are people that are born male, that have gender dysphoria, who do their very best to pass as the opposite sex and live as such, right? We know this. Most of these types of people know that they're different or experience body dysmorphia but gender dysphoria at around the age of 4 or 5 years old, and it follows them into adulthood, usually getting worse around puberty, which makes sense. They're developing breasts or developing facial hair, and it causes them even more distress. AGPs, on the other hand, are people that are born male who are turned on by the thought of inhabiting a female body. The idea of being or looking like a female. This bitch. Some consider this to be a fetish or sexualizing themselves as a woman.
We're gender fluid. Of course we don't want to be objectified. Oh, you think I'm cute? Lincoln bio.
We're gender fluid.
Hey babe, I thought I was gonna wear that jacket tonight.
So of course my wife and I share clothes.
Others actually see it as a sexual orientation. Believe it or not, some of these people are actually not attracted to women or men, but they are attracted to themselves as a woman. But one thing is for sure, we can always tell the difference. Here's how to spot one. Number one, almost every single one of the AGPs that I've encountered, at least online or in real life, are over the age of 40 when they come out. 2, most of them are married with kids. 3, all of them are straight. They're all attracted to women.
Switching sides.
4, weirdly enough, all of them or most of them want to look like their wife or wind up looking like their wife. 5, most of them have a horrible fashion sense and don't care about passing as a female, even in the slightest. Why do all these men look like their wives? It really is weird. Chris on X said, Carl Jung believed that the romantic love often involves a projection of unconscious aspects of the individual's psyche onto the partner. He argued that individuals tend to project their own unconscious feminine or masculine qualities onto their romantic partners, attributing attributing qualities to them that they might actually possess. There's a lot of psychology behind this. Jung believed that this projection of the unconscious feminine side onto a romantic partner can lead to idealization and unrealistic expectations in relationships. When a man realizes that his wife does not possess the projected qualities he attributed to her, it can lead to a sense of delusionment and re-evaluation of the relationship.
We're gender fluid. Of course we could walk in heels better than girls.
By better, do you mean worse? Because... Number 6, they make sure that you know that this is indeed a turn on for them.
Of course we have a girl voice. And a guy one.
I'm gender fluid. Of course I get gender euphoria when somebody calls me good girl.
Number 7, having the trans flag everywhere, AGP. Listen, you can be proud and you can be trans and you can speak about it online, but obsessing over it is a red flag for me personally, pun intended.
Why do I need the surgery if I'm already a woman? Well, that's because I was born with a condition that caused me to develop male sex characteristics.
Okay, number 8, standing out versus blending in. Does this bitch seem like they want to blend in at all? Actual transsexuals exist and want to blend into society, not stand out in it.
Meet Amy.
Trans earrings, really? Number 9, dressing like a little girl instead of dressing like a woman.
These are my pigtails, yes, they're real. I get all steamed up, I can tell. That tip me over part sounds kind of inappropriate though. So I'm gonna stop the song there and keep it kid friendly.
This bitch does it all the time. Now to answer the question, why are there so many of these types of people? The sad part of this is that the majority of these people who call themselves trans women are not actually trans women. They are indeed autogynephiles. Here's a statistic. Nearly 3% of men in Western countries might experience autogynephilia. And we already know the statistic for actual transsexual people. It is 0.03% of the population. So 0.03% to 3%. It's a big difference. Here's what a few trans women friends of mine had to say about the difference between the two types of people.
From working in very trans heavy spaces, I worked in a very trans heavy bar for quite some time that was trans owned. I've seen thousands of trans people, and it's very easy to spot an autogynephile from a classical transsexual. Classical transsexuals clearly have a natural feminine disposition. They like men. Autogynephiles, however, I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10, it's a kind of weird, autistic, goth girl, fetishy, their femininity is clumsy, over-sexualized when they get comfortable. They tend not to socialize with women easy. They tend not to date very easily. They tend to have a lot of discomfort. They tend to be very, very aggressive about pronouns. Whether or not an autogynephilic transsexual can truly be counted as a true transsexual or a trans woman is debatable.
So AGP is basically something that only men can get. It's something that straight men and bisexual men can get, where instead of being attracted to women, they're attracted to seeing themselves as women. This can drive them to cross-dressing, to cross-sex fantasy, to transitioning. The key difference between AGP transsexuals and other transsexuals is the motivation, because with AGP transsexuals, the motivation is autogynephilia, which is a paraphilia. It stems from erotic target location error. They have a mental illness, just like I have a mental illness. It's just theirs is a sex disorder.
Their lack of feminine disposition, though, makes their transitions a lot more difficult for themselves and others. Their attraction to transition is also very tied to femaleness in general. This wish to embody like periods and like very specific female things, whereas classical transsexuals or homosexual transsexuals don't have that fixation. They have a natural feminine disposition, and their transition is an extension of that. Now, Ray Blanchard specified that the classical transsexual was actually a homosexual transsexual. The naturally effeminized male with a feminine disposition is always homosexual, whereas AGPs are necessarily not. They are always innately attracted to women. They may at some point experience some kind of attraction to men, but that is a byproduct of their erotic fixation on femininity and femaleness, because the sense of being with men gives them a feeling of being feminine.
Now to answer the question, why are they so comfortable coming out? This one is easy, and I know you guys pretty much know the answer, but it is diversity, love, and acceptance. Years ago, these people would have simply been called cross-dressers, right? Or transvestites. And that would have been that. And people would have been okay with it. And they probably would have lived in San Francisco or New York City in the West Village. But the truth is, even today, people aren't the biggest fans of them because they can come across as creepy. But getting behind someone that has a mental condition or a medical condition or gender dysphoria dysphoria, most people at this point can understand and get behind that. And because trans has been touted around the media as a major Democratic talking point and a major thing to fight for in the past 6-7 years, of course more AGPs are claiming the trans label. This part is the most important part, how this is actually hurting transsexuals. Number one is over-sexualizing. Most people know that the number one reason trans women are actually killed, it's not what the media says, is because they are involved in sex work. Women are already over-sexualized, and actual transsexual women even more so. Many people simply see them as a fetish, something to conquer, something different, unique. And AGPs do a very, very, very good job of over-sexualizing themselves, as we've seen in this video so far. Number two, fiction versus reality. Many AGPs either don't understand or pretend not to understand biological reality. If society confuses them with actual trans women, society would just think that all of them are either crazy or dumb, or both. Number three, the creepy pedophile label. LGBT people in general have had to overcome the creepy pedophile label quite a bit over the last 50 years. Having these AGPs out there dressing like kids, acting creepy, wanting to speak directly to kids is not the way forward. Alexis on X said, it definitely does not help separate us from fetishists. The AGPs claiming to be the same as us are looking to ride our coattails into acceptance, but in reality just paints us all as deviants or even predators. Ooh! Preach, girl. How this hurts society. The Publica said, this is what happens when you allow gender ideology to run wild. Leftist male politicians in Mexico have begun self-identifying as women in order to run in elections where there are not enough female candidates where available. Ridiculous.
Mexico. Leftist male politicians are self-identifying as women in upcoming municipal election to secure candidacy. Let's be real. This was only a matter of time. Two left-wing parties in Mexico are under fire after nominating several men to run as female candidates in the upcoming municipal elections in a state that I am not capable of pronouncing. The move appears to be a way to exploit a loophole in the gender parity law in Mexico's constitution, which requires 50% of all elected positions to be held by women in an effort to combat the country's rampant sexual violence.
Not understanding a woman's boundaries, not caring to pass when entering our safe spaces, taking advantage of a situation because you are now considered a protected minority, playing victim when it's certainly not necessary.
Cis white women are the scariest population group out of any group of people ever. It's period. Especially the small, cute ones. Just to be honest. Y'all cry. People die. Right? Like, I've never been abused more than by a cute, small, cis white woman. You know? Maybe my dad, but like for people who are not in my life my entire life, yeah, it's the cute little cis white women who make sure every time to tell me they'll never believe you. Just like that.
Lesbians, who are a very small part of society, probably smaller than the actual amount of AGPs in society, are also extremely affected by this ideology. This was at Berlin Pride recently. Apparently they are saying lesbians fuck off, no one will miss you. I don't speak German, but people were commenting in it. That's what it said. That's what they were saying. Imagine it being 2024 and you can no longer be a lesbian, an actual lesbian at LGBT Pride. This is where we're at, people. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. How can you personally tell the difference between an actual transsexual person, an actual trans woman or trans man experiencing gender dysphoria, living their life as such, as the gender they identify, versus an autogynephile, somebody that is a fetishist? How can you tell the difference? Let me know in the comments below, and go and check out our sponsor, Poly AI. Make sure you go and support companies that support this channel and our morals, because we want to keep calling out the bullshit. As always, I will see you guys back here next Sunday. Make sure you subscribe if you are not already, and I will see you guys then. Bye.